CBS News special report. I'm Errol Barnett. We have breaking news for you coming out of the Middle East. Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire and hostage deal after 15 months of war. This deal comes after many months of negotiations brokered through the U.S., Egypt and Qatar. This chapter of the conflict began, you may remember, when Hamas orchestrated a terror attack on Israeli soil back in October of 2023. That killed 1,200 and they took another 250 people hostage. Nearly 100 hostages are still inside Gaza and at least a third are believed to be dead. Now, the Hamas-led attack also led to an Israeli military invasion into Gaza that killed more than 46,000 Palestinians. We want to bring in Face the Nation moderator and our chief foreign affairs correspondent, Margaret Brennan, who has been working the phones to get the latest information on this. Margaret, tell us, what is part of this agreement?
This is a breakthrough deal, as you just described it. It's also going to be incredibly difficult to implement. But what it could mean is that as soon as this weekend, as soon as Sunday, you could see hostages released from Gaza, handed over by Hamas back to Israel. We will be watching to see the implementation of this. What we know is that on paper, Hamas and Israel have agreed to a deal that has multiple stages. The first phase, perhaps the most important, particularly to some of those American families who have been waiting to see their loved ones return. This is a 42-day implementation during which 33 of those hostages, some alive, some status unconfirmed, would be released in small numbers, during which time we would also see some redeployment of troops. We would also see aid go into Gaza, aid that is very much needed as famine-like conditions exist inside. Israel controls the entire security perimeter of that Palestinian territory, which is so embattled. What we know is that this announcement is expected to come in Doha, Qatar. That's because it is Qatar, a U.S. partner, and the United States that have forced this deal to come together. The U.S. pressing the Netanyahu government, Qatar and Egypt pressing Hamas to get to this deal today. It has been negotiated with the agreement of the brother of Yahya Sinwar, the architect of that brutal assault on Israel that you described. His brother signed off on this deal, I am told, by high-level U.S. and local sources who say this means it's official. Even just within the past hour, Errol, this thing could have fallen apart. But there are planning, as you saw there, I think, pictures there of a press conference being put together where the details will be released. But the bottom line here is, of the hostages that were taken, 7 of them still in captivity are U.S. citizens. 3 of them assessed to be alive. We will have to see if this deal is fully implemented, meaning this is little by little, a few hostages, movement on each side. If all the steps go through and this is fully implemented, they could see the return, for example, of 64-year-old Keith Siegel, Idan Alexander, a U.S. citizen, Sagi Chen. We'll be watching for that, as well as the remains of some of the hostages that remain in Hamas captivity. Errol, this is really striking because it comes in the final days of the Biden administration. It was President Biden who sent his diplomatic team saying, get this done. In fact, U.S. negotiator Brett McGurk has been there for the better part of a month trying to get negotiations closed. And what's so fascinating here is he had assistance from Donald Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. And I am told by sources in the region and U.S. officials that they were working really as a team representing the United States, pressing Israel to agree to concessions, pressing Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu to agree to these concessions. In the next few days, this will be critical. Back in Israel, because it is a democracy and they have a process for that, the deal will still have to be agreed to by the cabinet. It will still have to go before the Knesset. And one thing to watch here that could really lead to political blowback, and I know our Rami Inocencio is in the region watching this, is the names of the Palestinian prisoners who will be released. There are a number of Palestinians who are part of this deal who have been in Israeli detention facilities for some time. As their list of names is made public, we could see court cases challenging the release here. So there is a process here that could make this very difficult in just the next 48 hours. But the U.S. at this point believes they have gotten Israel and Hamas over the finish line here with the assistance of Qatar and Egypt. And for Joe Biden in the final days of his administration, this is the deal that he was really wanting to see to bring to end such an incredibly bloody war that has killed over 47,000 Palestinians in Gaza, that has upended the entire Middle East and also weakened one of the biggest adversaries of the United States in the Middle East, Iran. But we will be watching this carefully to see implementation follow through. But a big diplomatic win for him just to get to this point. Now we have to watch the implementation of it.
Margaret Brennan laying out the headline here on a breakthrough ceasefire deal agreement between Israel and Hamas. And as you just laid out, Margaret, though, it is tenuous. 42 days of a ceasefire where we could see hostages released as early as this Sunday, but there are so many components to it. Stay close with us. We want to cross over now to CBS News foreign correspondent Ramy Inocencio. He's been on the ground covering this war from both sides since the beginning. He joins us from Tel Aviv. And I know, Ramy, you've been in contact with many relatives of hostages and other victims. I'm curious what they've been telling you lately as we've been hearing that this deal could be imminent and what you're hearing from them today.
Errol, yes, that's right. In terms of the reaction that I'm getting from some families of hostages I'm texting right now, is that there is relief coming from many, as you would expect. But from one complication, the older brother of the hostage, Avitar David, Eli David, who I spoke to in Jerusalem, just messaged me and said, it's complicated. He says, I hate this deal because his brother and 21 other men are actually not on this list of the 33. Of course, he is hoping that there's a comprehensive deal here, but this is showing the cynicism that people have been thinking about when it comes to Hamas in its dealings with Israel. The relief, no doubt, that many people are feeling here, mixed with, you would imagine, emotional torture, if you will, over the past 466 days, ever since the events of October 7, 2023. You can also imagine that this is not just one generation. We're talking generational trauma here, from hostages as young as 1-year-old to hostages as old as 85 years old. Another brother of another hostage, Michael Levy, talked about his brother Or Levy, who was abducted from the Nova Music Festival. You know, I asked him, how does he keep hope alive? He said that's the only thing that he can actually hold on to. He also said, talking about the intergenerational anxiety, he said that while his brother was abducted, hopefully still alive, his brother's wife was killed in the events of October 7th when a grenade was hurled into her shelter. But their 3-year-old son, Almog, turned 3 years old without his parents. I asked Michael, Almog's uncle, if he was asking less about his parents. He didn't say that they were asking less about him, but that he was actually forgetting faces, thinking that strangers were actually his parents. So this is the ebb and the flow of the emotions that have been happening here. No doubt, a lot of relief, but again, messaging with some of the hostage families right now, as one says, it's complicated because, of course, everyone wants to see all of their families, all of these hostages home immediately.
And that's understandable. And Ramy, you made a point about these first 33. We understand, according to details from earlier today, that would include women, children, and older hostages. Margaret Brennan mentioned Keith Siegel among them. He's an Israeli American. CBS News spoke with his wife. I spoke with his wife, Aviva, months ago. She's 63 now. He's 64. And while she was a hostage and released a month later during the first hostage release, she worries about his psychological state, which is so understandable. Can you give us a quick update on the latest on the fighting? Because that, of course, has continued this entire time.
Yes, the fighting that has continued on in Gaza has been actually ramping up over the past few days. Our CBS News team in Gaza has been messaging us saying that they feel it might be Israel's attempt to try to destroy as much of Hamas as it has been trying to do over the past 15 months before any kind of deal has been clinched. But even in just the past hour or so, we even got reports of the killing, of the deaths of a few more journalists. Tragic in that this has happened just as this deal has been reached. But when you look across the whole entire 15 months, the death toll from the Hamas-run health ministry is pushing 47,000 people over nearly 470 days. You can do the math there. So many people losing their lives, men, women, and children. We have been talking about the hostage families. And to your question, it is so important to look across just miles south of where I'm standing here in Tel Aviv, with the devastation, with the destruction that you are seeing on your screens right now that have been continuing in Israel's avowed promise to destroy Hamas, still very much clearly intact as we see them very apparent in negotiations that have finally, as we see, come to the ceasefire right now.
Remy Inocencio giving us the latest from Tel Aviv on this breaking news. Remy, thank you. And we are standing by for a press conference update of sorts out of Qatar. This Gulf nation helped mediate this deal. As soon as that happens, we'll bring you updates. But let's first cross to our CBS News national security contributor, Sam Vinograd. She served as former Assistant Secretary for Counterterrorism at the Department of Homeland Security. Sam, we understand this agreement, as significant as it is, will take place in phases. But what can you tell us about how we got here? Because it's not necessarily a slam dunk guarantee.
We've almost gotten here before. We've been close to a deal, but over the 15 months since Hamas brutally attacked Israel, the negotiating positions of both parties have shifted. We have to remember that Hamas senior leadership has been decimated. Close to 47,000 people in Gaza have been killed, and conditions have deteriorated significantly. On the Israeli side, Prime Minister Netanyahu feels more strongly that he has accomplished his military objectives in Gaza and has been under enormous pressure to bring hostages home. So over the 15 months of this conflict, the sense of mission achievable as well as the underlying negotiating positions of both parties has understandably shifted, Errol.
Sam Vinograd helping us understand how fast-moving developments helped us get here. Sam, thank you for that. And to recap for our viewers this breaking news, Israel and Hamas have agreed to a ceasefire and hostage deal after 15 months at war. CBS News has learned this breakthrough calls for hostages to be released from Gaza to Israel as soon as Sunday, and Israel will completely withdraw its military presence from Gaza. Now, this historic deal comes nearly a year and a half after Hamas launched a terror attack in Israel, killing 1,200 people and taking hundreds hostage. And that, as you all know, led to an Israeli military invasion into Gaza, killing more than 47,000 Palestinians. We're also expected to finally see aid get into Gaza amid famine-like conditions there.